a guy who's imitating Einstein. Could you tell me how many people imitate Einstein? Well, this guy's Einstein. he he could not be imitated. There are guys around who sort of have that sound, and they can sort of play in all registers, and they don't have the poetic license. Just was not issue. You couldn't buy a poetic license. It's Stan Getz was Stan Getz. It's something like that pops up in your mind or in your face, and what are you going to do? You can't change something like that. He had an art that nobody else could. If an imitator could not imitate Stan Getz properly, and there would be no point in it for that matter. Where do we start with insanity?
Made it unique. Just the session itself.
Stan Getz made it unique, and he picked Sauter Finnegan, and I recorded it. You got something he felt, and he felt that accurately. Eddie Sauter or Bill Finnegan knew Stan Getz's playing very well, and he understood what Stan would like them to do. But they had something going, and I knew it would come out that way. Otherwise, Stan wouldn't have gone with it.
Can you just talk about putting us inside that session? Obviously, it was done at Webster Hall, but I don't think it was a live concert, right?
No, it wasn't at all. There were no people there. Just myself and the engineer for the Webster Hall and Sauter Finnegan. They wrote it and Stan played it. And the only thing, Roy Haynes was the only other musician at the party. I opened Focus, and I'll listen to it any time of the day and heave a satisfied sigh.
Having a ball with Creed Taylor here. What was the reception when the album actually came out, though? I mean, was it played on? I mean, did it play on?
All kinds of format, really, but it usually late at night, and I had a very good rapport with Black Radio, and they played good stuff. And what the program director might not let them play at an earlier point, where all of the the usual ads go on, they would play Stan Getz and Focus, and I didn't have any hesitation at all calling any of these guys and saying, did he get a good response on Stan's new album, Focus? And sure. I didn't ask him how the Alka-Seltzer was or what. How
Charlie Bird approached you with the Brazilian rhythms originally. How you knew that there was. Were you confident that Brazilian bossa music could be merged with jazz? I mean, nobody predicted it would be that popular, but can you talk about...
Well, let me correct one thing first. He wasn't playing a bossa nova. And I was going to talk with you later about that, because one really big mistake is it was jazz. Bossa Nova didn't come until it gets Gilberto, and I'll go into that in a minute.
Sure.
So let's see. What were we doing? What were you saying?
No. I know exactly what you're talking about. The people would not understand what Bossa Nova is. It was jazz.
It didn't exist except when this Brazilian guy, João Gilberto, kind of a really quiet, stayed to himself. Well, actually, he and Astrud were husband and wife, but you hardly ever heard from the husband until Jazz Samba came out, and then he started listening to that, and Antonio Carlos Jobim started listening to his guitar playing, which happened to be the first time that Brazilian music was really Brazilian with the bossa nova, and so it sneaked in after the Charlie Bird thing. No, it's not that Charlie Bird wasn't a hit. It sold, I think, 3 million worldwide, but it was not bossa nova.
Oh, this is so awesome. I like your so it was samba, jazz samba, right? That was the name at the time that people could understand.
Yeah, well, people and myself, I didn't understand a bossa nova. What the heck is a bossa nova? This guy Gilberto invented the rhythm. It's 2 beats to the bar, and if you think kaboom, kaboom, that's all it is. It doesn't have the pattern that you hear with the cowbell or the cross stick on the snare or whatever. So that is a big, including my mistake. I didn't know jazz. I called it Jazz Samba because it was a samba. And when I brought that master back from Washington and gave it to the engineering department, and I told the sales department what it was, they said it's I've got a Jazz Samba here by Getz and Bird. And they went through this. You can't sell jazz. What are you talking about? You can't call it jazz. Jazz doesn't sell. So I said, well, guess what? It's Jazz Samba, and it sold 3 million. I have a photograph of a young Stan. I guess he was about 16 years old, maybe, and Lester Young is talking to him, and Stan is just smiling, eyes wide open, like, oh my God. He worshipped Lester Young. And you can certainly hear it, Lester Young, except it became Stan Getz.
Absolutely.
He certainly was born out of Lester Young, yes.
Right. And then how did he